Top 5, where I give a list to Vincent and our special guest, Mike Dennis of ReelBlack, and they share their scintillating commentary on it. We are going to be reviewing Riverbend, which came out in 1990. So these are 5 things that happened in culture or black culture in 1990.
1990, Chubb Rock steps upon the scene.
He is not...
And a pocket full of green.
Did not make the top 5.
The dream wasn't grafted. Really?
Chubb Rock did not make the top 5. He should have. You're right.
Okay. In 1989.
Rest in peace.
Number, Another Summer.
That would be the year before.
Get Down. Sound of
1989. This is 1990.
Welcome to the Terror Dome. Okay. All right. I'm done, yo. I'm back. No, you're taking me back to my college years, 1990, sir.
That's fine. All right, number 5.
Number 5.
Barry is busted. At the end of a joint sting operation by FBI agents and District of Columbia Police, Mayor Marion Barry is arrested and charged with drug possession and the use of crack. At the Vista International Hotel in downtown Washington, D.C., Barry was caught smoking the substance on camera with Rashida Moore, a woman who had agreed to set him up in exchange for a reduced sentence on an earlier drug conviction.
Yeah. If you were, I'm from Baltimore. I was, speaking of college, I was, went to College Park. So I was in D.C. This was like an earthquake because people in Washington, D.C., and let's be clear, black people in Washington, D.C. love Marion Barry. And, frankly, Marion Barry was part of that generation of post-civil rights movement mayors that, kind of the moves he made kind of ushered in that black middle class in D.C. and in PG County. And people right now still talk about the legends of him providing summer jobs for kids in the programs. So that was a huge, huge deal. Like Marion Barry is one of those figures I don't really play with or make jokes about because people take Marion Barry very seriously. Like he's a serious matter. It's sort of like there are people who I don't speak about here in Philadelphia because I don't want no smoke from y'all.
Well, Bleep set me up. I just remember that.
Look, I think that's what we were all thinking.
That's what
when it said. Bleep, she set him up. Yeah,
set me up.
That's what he said.
And he still won after that. So it just shows how much love. I mean,
he became mayor again in 1994 for an unprecedented 4th term.
But again, unlike Donald Trump, people pointed to actual things that he did.
Facts.
Again, the black middle class in the DMV. It's a straight line to Marion Barry. So,
yeah, I have a Marion Barry story. We met him at Philly at the Silver Docks Film Festival.
Okay.
Me and Bianca White did the interview, but there was a documentary HBO did, and he was there, and I was kind of uncomfortable because the movie, it has a center. Despite, that's the sad thing. Despite all the great things that one can become, so many of our black male figures end up being discredited at the end, But he was a sweetheart. He was very open. You can see that interview now to this day. It's on YouTube. It's just we had 5 minutes with him, but I got to touch the microphone that he touched. So I have a 1 degree of separation. I don't know how many degrees of separation D'Urville Martin has, but I'm 1 degree of separation from Marion Barry, folks.
Right.
He's on my channel. D'Urville, you got to go all the way back to, I don't know.
Sheba Baby.
Crack House, the motion picture.
See. Now I can't go and visit my people in D.C.
Starring Jim Brown.
See.
And Jim Brown was in a movie with Fred Williamson, who was in a movie with D'Urville Martin, several movies, as a matter of fact, with D'Urville.
He was.
That's 3 degrees. I'm 1 degree. Thank you. Anyway, what else happened in 1990? That's only 1 out of 5. We're not going to get through this tonight. They're going to cut this off. Power's going to be off. People, I want to sell 1 DVD.
This is not. Oh my God. Sharon Eldridge is in the chat. Michael fits right in. I love it. They are loving you.
There you go.
I've known you guys for what, 15 years.
Yeah, for a minute.
Easily.
Yes.
So
Number 4.
I wouldn't do this with Kamala.
Number 4, we're busting open the Crayola box because In Living Color premieres in 1990. The groundbreaking American satirical sketch comedy series aired on Fox from 1990 to 94, created by writer, producer, actor, director Keenan Ivory Wayans. The series gave voice to the African-American experience in a way that was absent in other sketch comedies. The show addressed race relations, cultural stereotypes, politics, and pop culture. It would go on to be nominated for 18 Emmy Awards over its 5 seasons and 127 episodes. It won an Emmy for Outstanding Variety, Music, and Comedy Series in its first season and was nominated in the same category in its second and third. It would also pick up the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Variety Series in 1992. Among its cast were Damon Wayans, Kim Wayans, Sean Wayans, Marlon Wayans, as well as David Allen Greer, Kelly Cofield, Tommy Davison, Takia Crystal Kima, as well as future Oscar winners Jamie Foxx and future superstar Jim Carrey. Also, at one time, Chris Rock was a member of the cast. And in the Fly Girls, you had one Carrie Ann Aniba and Jennifer Lopez on
In Living Color.
Also, it should be noted that the choreographer of the Fly Girls was one Rosie Perez.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Reggie McFadden.
Yes.
Friend of mine. Tim Green's here. But yeah, I've been warned. I'm getting notices that I'm a professor at Temple University and I should tone down a little bit, but I'm not. I can't.
No.
I'm not going to tone down. But take my class. It's really good. And
This is what you get in class.
Exactly.
a little bit. You know, there's still some fragility happening at Temple, you know, and I'm there to teach them stuff. So you'll get this.
Trying to sell a class.
You'll get this, but more buttoned down. The knowledge is there.
Okay.
All right.
The knowledge is there, but I'm not. You know, I don't show up at work drunk, folks.
That's a really low bar.
Well, like the verdict. What is it? Paul Newman? Like, I got to get through this class.
Right.
So where are you on In Living Color?
Shout out to Reggie McFadden. It's great. I mean, it changed everything. It changes. I mean, it was one of the first shows on Fox. And by the way, Tommy Davidson's going to be in Philly this weekend at Helium.
Yep.
And he's great.
Past guest.
Yeah, he's been on my show. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? What can you not say? I don't know what you're going to say because you didn't like I'm going to get you sucker. But
Well,
What's that?
that was the precursor.
I wouldn't say I didn't like it, but I had the same critique of In Living Color that I did I'm Going to Get You Sucker. I think
Really?
for every moment of utter brilliance that you would have, every now you'd be like two kind of low-hanging fruit potty joke skits.
Yeah.
So,
That's the Wayans. I mean, they made a career
well,
out of that.
that's
Scary
that,
movie.
and that's sort of my thing. It's sort of like I always say, the biggest backhand compliment that I can ever give you is if I'm disappointed in you, because I'm rarely disappointed in people because I don't have any expectation of most people. So if I'm disappointed in you, it means that I had expectations.
Oh, I mean, and, you know, this is when I get to like be old for a minute. Like the first episode of In Living Color was so highly anticipated. It might have come on after one of those big ball games or whatever, but that
It did. It absolutely did.
that Wrath of Farrakhan sketch, that was, I mean, for people who don't know the impact of that the next day, it was sort of like the black white supremacists on Chappelle's show. It just like was a knockout punch. It's like, all right, we're not going to take any prisoners. This is the kind of humor we're going to sell. And you've never seen anything like this on television before, you know? So, and then, you know, the halftime show, like the whole Super Bowl halftime show, the way we see it now with all these big name guests, would not have existed if not for In Living Color.
That's right.
Because they decided they were going to hijack the Super Bowl one year and do their own halftime show in real time.
Yeah, with the
Men on Film guys. And the next year, what did the NFL do? They got Michael Jackson.
I was going to say,
was that the very next
That's the
year?
Michael Jackson year.
We can't let people tune away on our stuff. We got to sell some Pepsi. Let's get Michael. So, I mean, that's one person I've never met that I would love. I met some of the brothers, but I've never met Keenan. I mean, I would love to give him his flowers. I mean, he changed everything. And as a young person at that time, I still have my VHS tapes of In Living Color and music guests. That they cut out of the DVDs. I still have those on VHS. So.
Oh yeah, I guess because they didn't have the rights for
some of the guests didn't make it to the DVDs. Yeah.
That old media.
Oh yeah, it's pretty warehouse full freaking VHS tapes at this point.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Number three.
Trey.
Let's go back to February 11th of 1990, where a huge upset, and I would say this may be the biggest upset in sports history.
Okay.
When James "Buster" Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in the 10th round in Tokyo, Japan to win the world heavyweight boxing title. I remember watching that. I saw it live. I didn't see it live. It wasn't in Tokyo, but I saw it live.
I saw it. Yeah.
And whoa. Well, you didn't see it coming, but you saw it coming. Because Michael was getting sloppy. He wasn't paying attention. By then, he had left Customado. He was all under Don King's wing, and that never goes well. He was barely training, but the whole thing was that Buster was basically he was just a buster, But he did what you're supposed to do in that moment. You're supposed to come in and put your best foot forward, and he got shook early in that fight. Mike shakes him and hits him. And Buster almost was, he said to this day, I almost was just going to be like, it just wasn't my night. But he got up.
Right.
And boy, he took it to Mike. And he presented the blueprint of how to beat Mike, because Mike Tyson was never, ever the same afterwards. One of the greatest moments in sports history. Did you see it?
No, I was there. I saw it. Look, the thing about Mike Tyson at that moment is that it had almost become a foregone conclusion that he was going to win.
Yeah.
And you remember it had gotten to the point where people were kind of not paying for pay-per-view because he was knocking dudes out in like minutes, and nobody wanted to leave a room. So as the infamous not sports fan on the show, I was there just for the party. I'm just there for the party. And it was almost festival feel to it because no one was really there for sport. You just knew Mike Tyson was going to knock the dude out, and then everybody was and I remember where I was, everything just turned upside down.
Yep.
When he got knocked out. Like it wasn't a party anymore. Like suddenly it's like the earth shook.
Well, you're right, but it stopped being a party when Douglas got back up.
Right.
Because he knocked him down. But when he got back up and was then still jabbing with Mike, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, what is happening?
Whoa, this dude didn't read the script.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
But it wasn't like the perfect storm for Mike to get beat up. Didn't Buster's mom die? And it was like, he had like a whole thing on his chip, like, I'm doing this for my mom.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that was really out there at the time, as far as like what we knew.
Right. You learned that after the fact, because who was paying attention to Buster Douglas?
Yeah, I mean, it probably was, but you still weren't, because Mike was out there, and I'm trying to remember whether or not he was still with Robin Givens at that moment.
Right.
I can't remember whether or not they had already broken up at that moment or not, but because we're doing this live. But Yeah, that was an amazing. That was
Yeah.
an amazing moment.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a shame his name's Buster Douglas because it just feels a certain way.
I would have
I'm
chosen
sure he was like the top of everything until he got to that Mike Tyson fight. He probably won a lot of fights to get into the ring with him. But then he's Buster Douglas. So, it's like Mitch Blood Green. There's just certain people that intersect in the paths of gods like Mike Tyson. And, they become a footnote, Leon Spinks, that kind of thing.
Well, not Leon Michaels. Oh yeah, it wasn't.
Well, I'm saying, in boxing, Leon. I mean, Leon ended up beating Muhammad Ali,
right?
But then later he became the joke of Richard Pryor's.
Well, yes, he did.
So
he did. So, and a classic joke.
Classic joke.
All right, we're going to continue on with number 2. I ain't got no. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no teethers. Number 2.
Number 2.
Do not do the right thing. Because at the 62nd Academy Awards, hosted by Billy Crystal, held in 1990, nominated for Best Picture, we had My Left Foot, Field of Dreams, Dead Poets Society, Born on the 4th of July,
And the winner,
Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh my God.
Putting to bed the myth that Driving Miss Daisy beat Do the Right Thing for
right.
Best Oscar.
That's right.
It did not.
That's right.
Do the Right Thing was not nominated for the Oscar.
That's right.
That's a double diss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not That's not Driving Miss Daisy's fault, though.
Okay.
This was the exact year. This was the exact year where I said, oh, well, I actually don't have to pay attention to the Oscars as any type of barometer of anything.
Yeah, you kind of
I turned the channel to something else. That's the end of the story. It's been turned ever since.
Really? But I mean, at the time, Driving Miss Daisy was based on a Broadway play.
Yes.
It was very successful, made a lot of money.
Yes.
I showed it to my grandmother. I was like, is this how it was? And she was, she's like, yeah, some BS. But, I mean, so we all knew, but it was still well crafted. I mean, the same thing.
It's a well-made movie.
The same thing with Green Book. I mean, like a lot of people go against Green Book because Black Klansman was up against it. But as far as traditional Hollywood stories go, and not the position, now I know I'm contradicting myself, what I was saying earlier. But it's not a bad movie. It just doesn't age as well as Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing. You're absolutely
I don't think anybody's going to watch Driving Miss Daisy with any kind of sentiments, or
Here's
historical perspective.
You're talking about Do the Right Thing, and I forgot I think Born on the 4th of July is better than Driving Miss Daisy.
I've never seen Born.
It's a good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really good. Tom Cruise, Oliver Stone actually does his thing.
Yeah.
Dead Poets Society, I think, doesn't age as well.
I never saw
I always thought My Left Foot was a little flashier than people thought it should have been. What else?
And Field of Dreams.
Okay.
I think Field of Dreams is better than Driving Miss Daisy.
I would put Field of Dreams probably on the same level.
I think they're both schlocky, kind of sentimental, but I think Field of Dreams storytelling and the actual story is better.
Yeah.
So I always talk about Do the Right Thing, but there were other films that were nominated that were better than Driving Miss Daisy. Driving Miss Daisy was it was 1990 and white baby boomers were scared of stuff.
Yeah.
And it made them feel good. And they voted for it.
Yeah. They weren't ready for that. They weren't ready for Riverbend either, which we'll get to.
Right.
It's coming.
We're going to pace out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you got all the way to number 1 and you didn't mention Heather Hunter on Soul Train in 1990.
I miss Heather Hunter.
How did you get that? She stars in the award-winning motion picture Twice as Nice, and then gets a leading job as a lead dancer. I'm sorry, I have to interject. Forget your number 1. That's my number 1 of 1990. I still have those VHS tapes for.
Oh no! Oh, we're going left right now because you understand.
No, the Soul Train tapes. You're misunderstanding.
No one
Sure.
knows who Heather Hunter
Well,
is.
they're Googling.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, nobody watching this knows.
Okay, well,
And the ones that do
I
know.
suggest that you go to
Easy.
start a separate
I was about to say
podcast
easy.
on a different streaming platform where you review the classics. You might never end your life never having reviewed every one.
You may want to search Heather Hunter on your burner phone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm forewarning you.
Oh, you said Heather Hunter.
1990. That
is-
the first thing that pops into my mind.
That's the first thing.
Wow.
But okay, Heather Hunter.
What is?
What is the actual number one?
Yeah, what is the actual number?
What is the actual number one?
I'm just playing to the
That Mike says should trump. Heather Hunter trumps our number one.
What's your number one?
So remember, Mike Dennis's number one for 1990 is Heather Hunter on Soul Train.
Twice as nice, folks.
Twice as nice. Mike Dennis of ReelBlack says that should trump
Hung jury.
February 11th of 1990 when one Nelson Mandela is released from the Victor Verster prison near Cape Town after 27 years behind bars.
So what do you think, Mike?
What do you
Heather Hunter on Soul Train in one hand. Nelson Mandela freed from prison in South Africa in the other hand.
Sincerely, Screw the Right Thing was a better movie than Idris Elba as Nelson Mandela. And I stand by that as the proprietor and HNIC of ReelBlack. However, I curb my enthusiasm for this whole conversation as Professor Michael J. Dennis at Temple University. So, I don't get anybody upset at me. But I mean, this shows how deep I know about these motion pictures.
Talk about like Coming in America, which is
Coming to America.
well, that's a different movie.
No, Coming to America is Heather Hunter.
I thought she was.
I thought she was coming in America.
Yeah, I thought it was.
We'll put it. All right,
Sure.
Message me, ReelBlack Renaissance on Instagram.
Yeah, let's see if this is a real Black Renaissance. Twice as nice.
She just had a baby.
Did she now?
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
Oh my God, you keep up with
she's
Heather Hunter.
ancient. I keep up with you guys too, so don't discriminate.
I'm not discriminating. I'm fine.
Look, I mean,
Wow,
she's
what
a
an
photographer, and she just had a child.
We should see if we can get her on our show.
Cinnamon Love is out there somewhere.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
I don't know about the Jack Me, but they're
Janet?
I don't know where they are. I'm not sure if they're on social media.
Probably not.
Disappeared.
Janet doesn't like to talk much. I met her once.
She doesn't talk at all, does she?
Oh my God.
Okay. Anyway. All right. That was a
That was
mini
Micheaux After Dark.
So how do I feel about Nelson Mandela?
Oh, we already know how you feel about Nelson Mandela, Mike.
I mean, hopefully you were glad. Like
I was siding with Winnie. I mean, I'm not saying get tires out, but that's why we're promoting Riverbend, because it's about retribution. It's not about. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. It's really about the dynamic between retribution and justice and what's more important. I think in a peaceful world, we want justice. And freeing Nelson Mandela was a symbol that signified the changing of the guard. I mean, basically, America cut them off from some money, so they had to make some moves, but that's how they do it. But yeah, I think that's a great way to segue into.
It is, absolutely. That is the top 5